What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Sativ, and in this video we're going to check out Outlaw Rogues on the Legion Alpha. We're going to talk a little bit about the skills available to an Outlaw Rogue currently, the talents, and show off some of the new animations. Then we'll finish up with a look at our artifact weapon. Please bear in mind, all of this is subject to change as we continue through the alpha and beta. This is just a quick early preview of what's to come. Right, so let's get started with some of our abilities and skills. Taking a quick look through the spellbook, you'll see a lot of familiar skills like Adrenaline Rush, Cloak of Shadows, and Ambush, but there's also some new additions like Crimson Vial, Between the Eyes, and Bribe. In this video we're going to go over all the skills because some of our old classics have changed. Adrenaline Rush hasn't changed though, and neither has Cloak of Shadows. They're still pretty much the same. Ambush is an Outlaw Rogue's only stealth ability. There's no sap, there's no garrote, and there's no cheap shot, which is kinda strange, though Ambush does really big damage compared to Saber Slash, which is our Sinister Strike replacement. Crimson Vial heals the user for 30% of their health, and can be improved through the talents. Between the Eyes is a combination of Kidney Shot and Internal Bleeding. It's a ranged stun, and you do a pretty funky little pistol animation when you use it too. Blade Flurry and Distract, still the same. Blade Flurry hasn't changed. Extraction Point is what hearths us to our class Hall, in case anyone's wondering. You unlock that later on in your relic chain. Blind now has a 20-second cooldown. I think that's kind of crazy, but with the loss of sap and all of our other control abilities, it makes sense. Feint hasn't changed, still the same. Bribe is a skill that kind of mind controls the target, I think, but I have not been able to use it on anyone yet. It does not function against players from what I can see, and I tried to bribe a Murloc, but he simply was not having any of it. Gouge says that it generates a combo point, though currently it does not. Combat's the only spec with Gouge, by the way. Or Outlaw, I guess. Kick is the same. Run Through is Eviscerate. Something that's not mentioned in the tooltip of Run Through is that it actually roots the opponent. Saber Slash is our Sinister Strike replacement. Saber Slash has a 35% chance baseline to strike an additional time. So let's put this talent back in. This puts it back up to 50%. Here, we'll try and proc it really fast. These new animations are pretty funky, eh? Look at this stuff. There, see, I got a secondary combo point. And again, there's a little bit of a weird delay when you proc your Saber Slash, so kind of have to be mindful of your globals and watch what you're doing. Slice and Dice is still the same. Pickpocket. Sprint now has a 30-second cooldown, probably to make up for the fact that we don't have Burst of Speed or Shadow Step. And Pistol Shot. Pistol Shot is our dedicated slow, and when we proc a free Saber Slash, it gives us a free use of Pistol Shot. Stealth, same stuff. Riposte. Riposte is basically Die by the Sword, only it's like the old school Retaliation. If anyone played Warrior back in the day, you retaliate at your opponent, dealing, I think it's 100% of your attack power as physical damage, and this cannot occur more than once every second. So you have 100% parry for 10 seconds, and you attack your enemies back whenever they hit you. Vanish is the same, 2-minute CD, and that's pretty much all of our skills. We still have passives like Ruthlessness, which give us an additional combo point when we use a finisher at 5 points. Swashbuckler, which lowers our penalty for having dual wield. And Fleet-footed, increased movement speed and reduced falling damage. And Main Gauche, our mastery, is still the same. So that's a quick rundown of all of our skills and abilities. As you may have noticed, the Bandit's Guile passive is gone. So we no longer advance our insight and get a red buff. Our damage is the same all the way through our rotation. Let's move on to the talents and take a look at what's available to us. Starting from the top, we have an ability called Ghostly Strike, which costs 60 energy, generates 1 combo point, and increases the damage our target takes by 10%. Now, this is only from our abilities. It's a personal buff. Increases your damage that you deal by 10%. Puts a small debuff on the target, as you can see here. So, Ghostly Strike is one of our options. Swordmaster is a passive, which increases the chance to trigger a secondary Saber Slash by 15%, bringing it from 35 up to 50%. Quick Draw. Free uses of pistol shot generated by Saber Slash now grant an additional combo point and deal 50% increased damage. So these are two little passives that basically affect your Saber Slash and make your rotation more effective. Grappling Hook. I really like this spell. It's a little bit slow right now, but you can use it to reach hilarious places. Look at that. You ain't seen no Warriors Heroic leaping up there like that, man. That's a Grappling Hook exclusive. Acrobatic Strikes. Increase the range of all your melee attacks by 3 yards. That's kind of an interesting choice. Brings your melee range up to 8 yards from 5. And Into the Fray grants you an additional 15% movement speed at all times, putting your passive movement speed at 130. Deeper Stratagem. You may now have a maximum of 6 combo points. I don't know if you guys noticed here, but the combo point UI is built into your character now. So this gives you 6 combo points, and you can actually spend all 6. So it increases the finishers of all your finishers, I guess, you know. Your Eviscerate, your Kidney Shot, well, Pistol Shot, I guess, or, sorry, Between the Eyes. So yeah, Deeper Stratagem is an interesting choice. Anticipation has been nerfed a little bit. It used to be 5 combo points extra, but now it's only 3. And you can see how this functions in the UI here. And Vigor. Increases your maximum energy by 50 and base energy regen by 10%. So this gives you 150 energy capacity. Iron Stomach increases the healing from Crimson Vial by 30%. So it goes from 30% of your health up to 39% of your HP. At my gear level, this was 118k heal, which is pretty big heal when you think about it. Elusiveness is the same, nothing's changed there. And Cheat Death is pretty much the same. I think the internal cooldown got increased a little bit, but I don't know enough about Cheat Death to be sure, because I never ever really use it. Parlay. Parlay can only be used on targets that are out of combat. That's something that's not mentioned in the tooltip, and it can be used to pacify opponents. You can't use it on these target dummies because they're mechanical, but it functions exactly like Sap for the most part. It shares diminishing returns with your Gouge and other polymorph effects. Prey on the Weak, same skill we've had for a while. It says it works with Kidney Shot, Cheap Shot, Gouge, Sap, Blind, but I'm not sure about Between the Eyes. Obviously things like that will get worked out as we go through the beta. Dirty Tricks. Gouge and Blind no longer cost energy and no longer break from damage over time effects. This doesn't state your damage over time effects, so this potentially can work on all dots. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to get the opportunity to play with other players. Every time I go to duel, there's never really anybody out there. Cannonball Barrage. This is a funky spell. Currently it doesn't do a whole heck of a lot of damage, but we basically call in some cannonballs to poop all over the place, which is pretty cool. Now this tree does share with Killing Spree, so you know that's kind of interesting how Spree is now a talent that we have to take, or Cannonball Barrage, or Alacrity, which increases your haste by 1%, sorry, and stacks up to 25 times every time you use a finishing move. So 20% chance per combo point, you know, 5 combo points is 100% chance to grant you 1% haste for 20 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. And in our final row of talents, we have Death from Above, Marked for Death, and Roll the Bones. Roll the Bones is a very interesting talent choice. Currently, one of the things that it can give you doesn't work, but I'll just read the description real quick. A finishing move that rolls the dice of fate, providing a random combat enhancement, lasts longer per combo point spent. So far, I really like this talent. There's a lot of interesting procs that you can get. First one, 40% increased critical strike chance. That's always welcomed. That's a whole heck of a lot of crit when you think about it. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? What do we get here? Buried Treasure. Your attacks generate 1 additional combo point. helps smooth out your rotation. I really like this one. This is probably my favorite one out of all of the bone rolls, I guess. Increases your chance to trigger main gouge by a lot. Basically gives you a 100% chance to trigger it. Every single strike triggers main gouge. There's other ones like increase all damage done by 35%. Then there's a generic haste one. And then there's this. Jolly Roger. You seen that 100-something K crit? Pretty sure that was Jolly Roger going off. Yeah. Jolly Roger hits hard, but after the fact does nothing. So I'm assuming that it's not finished yet. So again, that's 40% crit, 40% haste, attacks generate 1 additional combo point, 35% increased damage, or a big buff to your mastery. All in all, Roll of Bones is my favorite choice in that tree. You know, there's Mark for Death, we all know what that does, and Death from Above is still the same. Now let's take a look at the artifact, the Dreadblades. The first thing you can get through the talent tree is Curse of the Dreadblades, a 1-minute cooldown that causes your Saber Slash to fill your combo points. However, when you use a finishing move, it will consume 10% of your remaining health. This effect lasts 12 seconds. The actual Dreadblades themselves have 2 passive effects. The first one being chance on using a finishing move to cause Dreadblade's Fortune. This makes your next 3 finishing moves consume no energy. And chance on using finishing move to cause Dreadblade's Fate, increasing the damage of Pistol Shot and Saber Slash by 100% for 12 seconds. As we progress throughout the expansion, we'll unlock all of the talents in our tree, according to some posts on the forums. But let's just take a quick peek at what's available to us as we progress slowly through the tree. Cursed Edge increases the damage of Saber Slash. Cursed Leather reduces damage you take. Fate's Thirst increases the damage of Run Through. Fortune's Boon reduces the cooldown of Adrenaline Rush by 10 seconds. Hidden Blade. When you successfully ambush a target, your next Saber Slash will be guaranteed to strike a second time. Here's another one of the skills, or I guess ultimate abilities. Passive. When you use Run Through on a target, the greed of the blades will sometimes cause you to perform an additional attack to all enemies within 5 yards, causing damage and healing you for 5% of your health per target hit. Deception. Sprint automatically activates Feint. Ghostly Shell. When you cast Cloak of Shadows, the Dreadblades will heal you for 2% of your maximum health for each effect that is immediately cleared, as well as any effects resisted during its duration. Fortune Strikes. Combat Potency now generates an additional energy. Gunslinger. Pistol Shot has a 3% increased chance to be a critical strike. Blade Master. When Riposte is active, all parried attacks will generate a combo point. Blunderbuss. When you perform a second strike with Saber Slash, your next pistol shot may be replaced with a blunderbuss that shoots a ball of shrapnel at the target, dealing greatly increased damage. Fatebringer reduces energy cost of finishing moves. Blade Dancer reduces the energy regeneration penalty on Blade Flurry. And finally, Blurred Time. While Adrenaline Rush is active, all of your abilities recharge 200% faster. I'm not quite sure what these relic slots are for. I hear they increase the power of some of these passives here. Well guys, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're excited to see more Legion content. I'm going to sign us off with me attacking the target dummy for a little bit, so you can check out what all our skills look like and get a feel for the animations.